There is a brand new pet coming to Clash of Clans for the new March update, as well as new levels for Town Hall 17 and some ways to earn additional gems. And a huge surprise for spenders, as you can buy a pack that I made myself in the Supercell store. So there is a lot to cover, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To start, let's go ahead and talk about the new pet Sneezy. Sneezy will be unlocked at Town Hall 17 with the brand new pet house level, and it acts as a spawner pet similar to Frosty. The troops that Sneezy spawns are called Snotty, which carry a high amount of health but in return pack a very low punch. Sneezy can spawn 2 Snotties at any given time, and they will attack anything in their path, all buildings. And this information isn't in the interface window, but I measured that the Snotties will spawn every 10 seconds, considering that there isn't already 2 on the battlefield. Now Sneezy acts similar to the Phoenix, where it's gonna stay behind your hero and it's only going to activate and actually attack buildings if your hero goes down. Once the hero does go down, Sneezy will become enraged and it will become a defense targeting pet. Now, one of the most interesting things about Sneezy is the fact that it has the highest DPS out of any of the pets in the game at 450 DPS, and this is even higher than the DPS of a max dragon. On the other hand, when it comes to Snotties, again, they have low DPS, but they have higher hit points, which makes them a lot tankier. And all of that comes together to break down most of the details for Sneezy. But what are my personal opinions about this brand new pet? To be honest, I think Sneezy has some benefits, but there are some places where I think it just doesn't work the way that I thought it would initially. At first, I thought the Snotties would be able to get ahead and tank for the Minion Prince or the Warden in air mode due to their high amount of hit points. But what you'll notice is that the Snotties are super slow, so they never get a chance to actually soak up damage for the heroes or to become extra DPS. On top of this, the pathing for the Snotties isn't really all that great, because they're not going to be focused on what the hero is attacking. And because you only get 2 of these things and it takes 10 seconds for another one to spawn, they actually don't help out that much, especially if they're distracted. Now there is one scenario where I think this pet is really good, and it is with the use of the clone spell. Big shout out to Sir Moose, by the way. He actually figured out that the Snotties themselves have a housing space of 4. Thus you can get a ton of these things spawning, and this can actually help quite a bit with attacks since they can pull traps and tank for defenses. The only caveat is that you have to make sure that you get just the Snotty to get the right effect, or else you're gonna clone other stuff instead. When we consider Sneezy itself without the Snotties, it actually has really good AI. I don't really know how they made this work, but it always stays behind the hero, which helps to protect it from other defenses. And it does have great DPS. It can really take down buildings and stuff very fast, but it only activates once the hero itself goes down, which is a huge limitation. So high DPS or not, you're not gonna get that effect from Sneezy, and once your hero goes down, you better have a lot of tanks in your army, because Sneezy doesn't have the best health at all. So there is some utility with the clone spells. Perhaps you can pull some traps, but other than that, I don't really see how strong it could actually be. I don't think it's gonna shake up the meta like the Spirit Fox did, but we'll definitely have to wait and see what the pros cook up, because they're always on a different level. Moving on, let's go ahead and talk about the new building levels. Since we got a ton of new building levels, I'm just going to keep it simple and show you all of them on screen right now. Out of all of these levels, I really like the Monolith and the Inferno Tower designs. They look really awesome and go perfectly with the intimidating vibe that Town Hall 17 is giving off. 2 more buildings that we're getting new levels on that I think is interesting is the Army Camp and the Dark Barracks. The Army Camp will provide some additional boost in your attacks, and this will definitely help out quite a bit. And from watching the Worlds warm-up last week, I think this is a pretty decent change at the pro level as well, since we're getting new defensive levels. However, I don't know if it's going to be really powerful at the casual level or not. Personally, I've been having a tough time with attacks myself, but I've also barely been playing because I've been busy with school lately. But what do you guys think? Let me know if this new army space is good and is something that was needed at Town Hall 17, or do you think it's just a little bit of overkill and Town Hall 17 is too easy already. Now for the Dark Barracks, we do have a brand new level level that is coming out for this building, but I cannot say anything else about it right now. I will let you guys go ahead and speculate. Interestingly enough, we are also getting a brand new bat spell level where it's gonna go from the max bat spawned from 22 to 23. Now, I don't think this is a huge change, but I would personally love to see some bat strategies come back because they are personally some of my favorite attacks. Last but not least, we have 5 additional levels on the unicorn, and I think this is a really significant and needed change. The unicorn is obviously great and doesn't have a replacement, but I think it needed a bit more levels to keep up with the higher DPS that we are dealing with. There are also some troops that are getting brand new levels, such as the Yeti, the Golem, the Ice Golem, and the Hog Rider. I really like the designs when it comes to a lot of these troops, especially the designs on the Golem and the Yeti. And I know a lot of people will be happy with the Hog Rider levels that we're getting because, you know, maybe some new Hog strategies come up, or we have a return of Hybrid. And the Yetis are really nice for people who use Yeti blimps, which have seen a resurgence, especially since we can carry 3 Yetis at once in the clan castle. Town Hall 17 will also be seeing an additional 75 wall pieces, and I know this just sounds like more work we have to do in the future, but you know, we're expecting the training time update, and if everything goes well with that, it should be a lot easier to upgrade walls. Now, on top of everything we just covered, we are also getting brand new supercharge levels. As you can see on screen, here are all the buildings that are getting new levels to be supercharged. There's nothing too crazy, and I didn't really do an analysis on them because they are the last priority of buildings you should be upgrading, so I felt that the analysis wasn't needed right now. Now, for the opportunity at more gems that I hinted at earlier, we are getting 4 new achievements that are coming to the game in the next update. Because of the new defenses that we got in the game recently, we're gonna get the multi-archer tower Terminator, the ricochet cannon Crusher, the fire spitter Finisher, and the multi-gear tower Trampler. I definitely like this a lot because the gem economy needs a lot of help. The first level of each is 25 gems, the second level is 75, and the final would get you 200 gems for each. This adds 1200 additional gems that players can get through achievements if they complete all of them. However, I will admit that the last level for all of these achievements is actually pretty hard to accomplish, but the first 2 levels aren't that bad, especially because we're gonna get the training time update. So if you're committed, you could easily see yourself getting 400 gems rather soon. And again, the training time update will just make things a lot easier because you'll be able to reload your armies and attack over and over and over again. Now, the final thing that I want to talk about is a shop deal that I made myself for all of you. If you guys didn't see the post on the community tab yesterday, I made a shop deal in the store that you can actually get. Now, you guys already know that I analyze almost every deal that comes in the Supercell store, and I post that in the community tab. So trust me when I say this deal is really good in my opinion. All you have to do to get it is just click the link in the description and it'll automatically go to the Supercell store. But also, you can only get one of these. You can't get like every creator's package. So if you want to shop around and make sure that you get the best deal, go ahead and do so. But I can guarantee that mine is good value, especially since you get 3 books, which I think is much more useful than any other potions or like training potions like we used to get. Speaking of no longer having training potions or training time, we're gonna get that update sometime after this update, and it's gonna completely change the fabric of the game. So you need to know the ins and outs of it if you want to be a good player. Luckily, I made this video right here which breaks down all of the changes as well as how to take advantage of them so that you guys can be the best players you can possibly be when the update does drop.